Today I will be talking about opening up your hip flexor, how to self-release it, and some things to help keep it open, right? We don't really want to activate it because it's already overactive from being seated while we eat, drive, study if you're in school, work if you're on the computer, etc., right? Anything we do to close this up, you're going to keep it overactive, okay? So first part here, something to keep in mind, right? On the inside of your so here, there's the longest muscle in our body, the sartorius, comes all the way up right into that pocket I was talking about. Okay, so instead of just jumping and right onto the IT band and foam rolling this to try and open up your hips, you're actually just going to lay flat on the ground, pick a hip, whatever side you want to foam roll. The bottom leg is the one that's going to kind of get beat up in this with this foam rolling. So the top leg, I want to lock out, make it as locked out and tight as possible, because as I squeeze down, this tense leg is now going to become my pressure to push onto this where the sartorius moves, your adductors as well, because what happens is that they become stuck here along with the inner hamstrings as well. So we're going to want to break up this inner area of the leg. Okay, so nice dead leg on the bottom. Lock out the top leg, squeeze it down, move it around, okay? I'm just relaxing the bottom foot here, because if I tense it up, now I can't push into the muscle layers or the knots. Okay, so you're going to do that. I like to move it around. Now the other thing to keep in mind with your hip flexors is the psoas, okay? It actually inserts at the top of your groin. So after you get this little meaty part of your leg, sometimes it's easier to use like a kettlebell or something, but you're going to really get that foam rolling tool that you're using all the way up as high as you can into your groin area. And if you can, okay, if it's not too much pressure, you can lock your ankles, squeeze by pinching your butt, okay? Try not to squeeze your legs by closing your legs with your adductors. You actually want to pinch your butt and let just naturally your foot angle into it as you pinch your butt forward, so that way you're shearing that upper inner groin. Okay, that's going to help get the bottom part of your psoas. And you're going to do that for a bit each side. Okay, now once you release those knots, you got to relieve the tension, open it up, elongate the psoas again, let the muscles on the inside breathe. And my favorite stretch here is probably going to look similar, but I'm going to point out some small details, okay? Now it's typically shown like this. People, they lean, they grab this leg, do all this stuff, okay? Now what's wrong with that? You're not actually going to open up your psoas and get the tension off your hip flexors, okay? If my foot is flat like this and I just lean, okay, all the angle is just coming down here. It's like under that TFL, under the area that's tight, that hip pocket, the hip flexors, okay? So back here, raise those toes up, okay? You want to bury down. This becomes your leverage against here. You're going to make sure your hips are squared. And now I'm pinching my butt forward, okay? Mess around with it. Keep your foot down and pinch here the same way. It's not going to be as tight or as centered to help open up your hips. Toes up here. Dig that big toe into the ground. That way you feel that leverage into the knee. And now as you tuck the butt here and pinch forward, you should feel everything open up here. Okay, you can hold this, raise the arm up, open up against it. That way that psoas gets pulled open as you're holding this stretch, but the whole time, do not let your butt cheek relax. Little variation on what to do here to help the inner leg stretch. Same thing, big toe is up. Okay, now I'm here, I'm pinching my butt forward. I'm going to scoot this front leg out. Now I have a really wide base. Keeping my butt pinched, drop down here. Okay, I'm going to feel everything on the upper inner groin stretch open because I'm still pinching my butt forward here. Okay, so pinch, make sure the hip is opening. Feel that stretch all the way down the leg. Open up your stance, drop inward, and feel everything open up through your inner leg. Okay, there's some hip flexors, self-release, and a good way to open up the hip flexors. Remember, you don't want to keep them too tight.